So in the first 3 months of this year, traffic from artificial intelligence platforms directly to retail websites exploded by nearly 400%.
Yeah, that is just a staggering number to wrap your head around.
Right. I mean, think about that number for a second. The traditional search engine, that whole complicated maze of keywords and blue links we've all been forced to navigate for, well, 2 decades, is basically dying.
Exactly, it's fading out.
And if you don't know how to talk to its replacement, your business is about to become completely invisible.
It really is. I mean, that's the terrifying reality for a lot of brands right now. We are witnessing this fundamental rewiring of how human beings discover solutions to their problems, and it's happening at lightning speed.
Which is exactly why we are dedicating today's deep dive to decoding this massive paradigm shift. Whether you're a business owner trying to stay relevant, a marketer, or just, an insanely curious person who hates being left behind by technology, this one is for you. We're digging into the BrightBrief research pack today. It covers late April to early May of 2026, and this stack pulls together some really crucial data from across the industry. So we're looking at Marketing Brew, Digiday, Search Engine Land, and HubSpot.
Some really heavy hitters in there.
For sure. And our mission today is to figure out how AI has evolved from, like, a back-end tool you use to write emails faster into the actual front door for customer discovery.
Because, I mean, the stakes really couldn't be higher here. In the old model, you typed a fragmented phrase into a search bar, got a list of options, and then you had to do the heavy lifting of figuring out which link was the best.
Right, clicking through a dozen tabs.
Exactly. But now you have a conversation with a system that simply hands you a definitive answer. If your business isn't structured to communicate clearly with these systems, you won't just rank lower. You simply won't exist in the eyes of the next generation of shoppers.
Invisible. I mean, that is such a heavy word, and the numbers really back up how fast this shift is happening.
They do.
Let's look at that first piece of core data from the BrightBrief pack. This is coming from Marketing Brew, and they're citing Adobe. Traffic to U.S. retail websites, specifically from AI sources, skyrocketed 393% year over year in the first quarter of 2026.
It's massive.
Okay, so let's unpack this. In my head, the old keyword search was like looking up a service in a giant, chaotic phone book. You flip through the yellow pages, hoping a business named itself, like AAA Plumbing, just to game the alphabetical sorting.
Right, the classic trick.
Yeah. But this new AI search feels entirely different. It's like walking into a 5-star hotel and talking to a hyper-knowledgeable concierge who already knows your budget and your preferences.
The psychology of that shift is what we really need to focus on, I think. Because when you look at a traditional search engine results page filled with 10 blue links and sponsored ads, you, the consumer, you still have to do the work.
Yeah, you click, evaluate, hit the back button.
Exactly. You have to decide. But Adobe isn't just tracking a massive spike in traffic here. They are actively building tools to help brands appear inside these large language model interfaces.
Like the underlying brains of tools like ChatGPT or Claude.
Right. Customers are fundamentally changing their behavior because they no longer want to do the work of sifting through all those links.
So they aren't just typing the word plumber into a box anymore.
No, not at all. They're pulling out their phones and asking full, complex questions. They want the best local contractor who specializes in historic homes and has availability this month.
Wow, yeah, so specific.
Or like best CRM for a small service business with less than 10 employees. They are trusting the short, highly curated list that the AI synthesizes for them. They're trusting the concierge.
Okay, so if the AI is the concierge, how does a business actually convince that concierge to recommend them? Because I'm guessing ChatGPT isn't accepting a $20 bill slid across the desk, right?
I mean, not yet anyway.
Right, and it doesn't have eyes to look at a beautifully designed homepage. So how is it actually parsing a business's value?
Well, it looks at the underlying architecture of your data. AI systems have very specific winning criteria because their primary goal is to provide a safe, accurate, and helpful answer.
Okay.
To do that, the system scrapes for structured data and high-density semantic relationships. It doesn't really read a website like a human does. It looks for clear definitions.
So what exactly is it looking for, practically speaking?
It wants to see verifiable customer reviews across multiple platforms. It needs structured product information, highly useful FAQs that address real human concerns, and clean, transparent pricing tables.
Oh, interesting. So if my website is just this vague, chaotic mess of marketing buzzwords like saying we offer synergistic paradigm-shifting solutions. The AI has absolutely no idea what I actually sell.
Exactly. And if it can't mathematically calculate what you do, it will not risk its own reputation by recommending you to the user. The whole mechanism of AI relies on certainty. Fluff basically creates uncertainty.
That makes total sense. But it also raises a massive question for me. If the AI is giving the user the answer directly, and the user never actually clicks through to a traditional website, well, how are the big tech platforms going to make their money?
That is the billion-dollar question.
Right, because they sell clicks, which means they have to fundamentally change their ad platforms to match this new behavior. So let's look at the Digiday report on Google. Google is massively expanding something called AI Max.
Right, which is a huge shift.
Yeah, and for anyone unfamiliar, AI Max is a campaign type where the algorithm essentially uses machine learning to decide where your ad goes, what format it takes, and who sees it, rather than you manually picking keywords. So marketers are being forced away from manual tweaking and pushed into these highly automated workflows.
We are witnessing a profound shift in control. I mean, for decades, the digital marketer's job was basically turning tiny manual dials, bidding 3 cents more on this exact keyword, or, turning off a campaign at 2:00 p.m. on a Tuesday.
Micromanaging everything.
Exactly. Google is eliminating those dials.
I feel like we need a better way to visualize this than the usual self-driving car cliche.
Yeah.
To me, this feels more like hiring a high-frequency stock trader.
Oh, that's a good way to put it.
Yeah, because I'm not standing over their shoulder telling them to buy 10 shares of Apple at exactly 2:01 p.m. I give them $100 grand, tell them my maximum risk tolerance, and let their algorithms do the math thousands of times a second.
Right.
But I have to play the voice of the skeptical business owner here for a second. Giving up manual control sounds terrifying. If I'm running a small business on a tight margin, how do I not just bleed money if the algorithm goes rogue?
It happens.
Like, what if it decides my ideal customer for industrial power tools is some teenager watching video game streams at 3 in the morning?
It is a completely valid fear. The solution lies in a critical new concept: guardrails and inputs. Going back to your stock trader analogy, success depends entirely on the parameters you set before they start trading.
Right.
If your inputs are garbage, the AI will very efficiently waste your money at a massive scale.
So what do those guardrails actually look like in practice? Give me a concrete example so I don't just blindly hand over my credit card to the machine.
Sure. A concrete guardrail means setting hard daily spend limits at the account level, not just the campaign level. That way, a hallucinating AI can't drain your entire budget overnight.
Okay, that's smart.
It also means defining strict target cost per acquisition ceilings. You're telling the system it cannot bid on a user if the historical data suggests acquiring them will cost more than, say, $50.
Got it. So setting very strict boundaries.
Exactly. And crucially, it means implementing incredibly accurate conversion tracking. The AI only knows what a win looks like based on the data you feed back to it. If you count a 10-second website visit as a conversion, the AI will find you 1 million people to click and instantly bounce.
Because it thinks it's doing a great job.
Exactly. It's doing exactly what you asked it to do.
Wow. And this automation trend isn't just isolated to Google either. The second Digiday piece in our BrightBrief pack brings in the Meta wildcard. So Meta is now opening its ad ecosystem in an open beta to third-party AI tools.
Yeah, this is huge.
Right, which means outside AI assistants can connect directly into your Facebook and Instagram ad accounts for campaign management, workflow improvements, cross-channel insights, all of it.
And this raises an urgent question about oversight. Advertisers are rightfully skeptical about how much API control Meta will actually expose to these third-party tools.
Because giving them the keys to the castle is risky.
Very. The promise here is amazing, right? Faster creative testing, real-time reporting, automated quality assurance across platforms, but the risk of over-automation is just massive.
Because if a third-party AI glitches, it's doing it with your company's credit card attached to the Meta account.
Exactly. So my direct advice to you listening right now: do not rush to connect every shiny new AI tool to your ad accounts just because it promises efficiency.
Yeah, that sounds like a recipe for disaster.
It really is. Sit down with your agencies or your internal teams and ask who holds the kill switch. Before a new campaign goes live, who clicks yes? You need a human-in-the-loop protocol for any major budget shift.
It really highlights how the old playbook of just buying visibility and micromanaging bids is dead. We are trusting algorithms with our money. So how do we get them to trust us organically? That brings us to the strategy shift we're seeing on the non-paid side.
Right.
The BrightBrief pack highlights an article from Search Engine Land, and it basically states the old SEO game of waiting for clicks is essentially over because AI systems are destination endpoints now.
The nature of the transaction between the user and the search engine has completely evolved. Search engines used to be transit hubs, you know? Their only goal was to move you to a destination website.
Like a bus station.
Exactly. But now the AI synthesizes the answer right there. If you want to be part of that synthesis, you need to build what Search Engine Land calls answer equity.
Answer equity, I like that term.
It's crucial.
Here's where it gets really interesting to me. If the AI is answering the question directly, we have to change how we think about our data entirely. Think about it this way. If the AI is a high-performance athlete getting ready for a big race, your business data is the nutritional label on their food.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, you have to feed the machine exactly what it needs to perform.
And to push that analogy even further, you have to understand how the athlete digests that food. AI systems crave structured information. They love data tables, they love bullet points.
Low in a novel.
Exactly. They struggle with long, meandering paragraphs of marketing copy. Answer equity means deliberately structuring your content to be cited and trusted as the definitive source.
Okay, so if I'm trying to build this answer equity, what kind of content acts as that high-quality protein? I imagine deep comparison pages would be huge.
Huge,
Yeah,
yes.
like if I honestly compare my software to a competitor's without just throwing shade listing actual feature differences,
Yeah.
the AI can use that to answer a user's direct comparison question, right?
Yeah, that is a perfect example. Another critical piece is pricing transparency.
Oh, really?
Yes, AI systems prioritize helpfulness. If you hide your pricing behind a call us for a quote form, the AI simply cannot answer a user's question about cost.
Because it doesn't know.
Right. So it will bypass you entirely and recommend a competitor who published a clear pricing tier because the competitor provided the data the AI needed to complete its task.
I didn't even think about that. If you hide the price, the AI just assumes you aren't helpful.
Basically, yeah.
Wow. What else builds this equity?
Local proof points are massively undervalued right now. AI assistants are highly localized, so don't just say you are a regional roofer.
Be specific.
Exactly.
Right.
Detail the specific neighborhoods you serve, the local building codes you comply with, and partnerships you have with other local businesses. You are answering the nuanced buyer questions so comprehensively that the AI basically cannot help but cite you as the primary source.
Okay, I have to throw a flag on the play here for a second.
Um,
I can hear someone listening right now saying, this answer equity, this AI concierge stuff, it sounds great in a boardroom. But does it actually drive revenue? Or is this just the newest tech fad?
Fair question.
Well, the BrightBrief pack includes a case study from HubSpot regarding their agent-first go-to-market strategy. And the numbers are wild. Qualified leads, not just loose traffic, but actually qualified leads from AI-generated answers grew 1,850% between the first quarter of 2025 and the first quarter of 2026.
Incredible.
Plus, these leads converted at up to 3 times the rate of traditional search leads.
Okay.
Oh, and HubSpot's AI-personalized outreach is now booking over 10,000 meetings a quarter.
See, the conversion rate is the most important metric in that entire study.
But let me push back on that slightly. HubSpot is a multi-billion-dollar tech giant that actively sells inbound marketing and AI software.
True.
Of course, their data looks incredible, right? They're the ones building the tools. Are we seriously expecting a mid-sized logistics firm or a boutique marketing agency to see a 3 times higher conversion rate from AI?
It is a totally fair counterpoint. The sheer volume of 10,000 meetings might be unique to a tech giant, sure. But the underlying psychology of that conversion rate applies to a local plumber just as much as it applies to HubSpot.
Okay, how so?
Think about why those leads convert faster. By the time the AI has synthesized the answer, recommended your business, and the user finally reaches out to you, the friction of the buying journey has been massively reduced.
Because the AI did the heavy lifting.
Exactly. The user already has total context. They aren't kicking tires anymore because the AI assistant already did the tire kicking for them, so they arrive at your digital doorstep with a very high degree of trust.
So what does this all mean? If I don't have HubSpot's massive enterprise software budget, how can I actually measure if this is working for my business today?
You really do not need a massive tech budget to start measuring this. You just need a willingness to adjust your intake process. The BrightBrief outlines a very practical 5-step tactical framework that any business can implement, like immediately.
Okay, lay it on me. What's step one?
Step one is deceptively simple. Adjust your forms. Wherever you ask, how did you find us, just add options for ChatGPT, Claude, or AI Assistant right alongside the standard Google and word-of-mouth checkboxes.
Okay, so just getting it on the radar. But if someone selects ChatGPT, that alone doesn't really tell me much. I assume step two is digging into the actual conversation.
You're jumping right to the most crucial part. Step two is asking new leads for the exact prompt they use.
The prompt, not just the keyword.
Right. You do not just want the keyword. Did they ask the AI for affordable regional logistics, or did they ask which regional logistics firm integrates best with Shopify's backend?
Ah, I see. Because knowing the exact prompt tells you exactly what kind of answer equity you need to build next. If they asked about Shopify integration and my website barely mentions it, I know exactly what page I need to build tomorrow.
Exactly.
As I know what they're asking, I assume step three is tracking the money. I need to see if those specific AI leads are actually buying anything rather than just, browsing around.
That is step three. You must compare your close rates by source, not just lead volume. Just like HubSpot found a higher conversion rate, you need to track whether your AI-referred leads are closing faster or for higher contract values than your traditional Google leads.
And once I have that data, step four has to be feeding the athlete better nutrition.
You got it.
I go back to the website and strengthen the specific pages the AI is likely to cite based on those successful prompts. I update my FAQs, clarify my pricing, and add those local proof points we talked about.
Which brings us perfectly to the final step, step 5, context evaluation.
Okay.
You have to regularly evaluate if these AI leads are actually better for your business or if they are just noise. The goal of this 5-step framework isn't to achieve perfect dollar-for-dollar attribution,
Right.
because perfect attribution is a myth anyway. The goal is to spot the trend. You are looking to see if AI-assisted discovery is starting to actively influence real qualified leads for your specific business model.
It's about getting out ahead of the wave instead of just letting it crash over you.
Exactly.
We have covered an immense amount of ground today. From that massive, nearly 400% wake-up call in AI-driven retail traffic, to the realization that ad platforms like Google and Meta are taking away our manual dials in favor of high-level inputs and concrete guardrails.
It's a whole new world.
It really is. We talked about the shift away from buying clicks toward building answer equity, structuring your data so your business becomes the trusted nutritional label for the AI's answers. And we grounded it all with HubSpot's data, proving that when AI reduces buyer friction, conversion rates soar, wrapping it up with a practical 5-step framework you can literally deploy this afternoon.
Yeah.
And I think the biggest takeaway for me is that while this technology relies on incredibly complex algorithms, the solution to winning in this landscape is remarkably human. Be clear about what you do. Be highly specific. Be deeply transparent with things like pricing. And make it incredibly easy for both a human and a machine to verify that you are the best at what you do.
That is how you win the AI recommendation game. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, looking specifically at the fact that AI is not just passively answering questions, but actively booking meetings and conducting outreach, it paints a fascinating picture of the near future.
Oh, for sure.
Imagine a scenario that is rapidly approaching. A consumer's personal AI shopping assistant begins directly negotiating with your business's AI sales agent.
Wow.
Right? If machines are essentially doing both the buying and the selling based on parameters we set, what happens to the concept of traditional brand loyalty? If the friction of discovery and negotiation is entirely handled by algorithms, do human relationships in business become totally obsolete, or do they suddenly become the ultimate, highly sought-after premium luxury?
Wow. Are human relationships obsolete or the ultimate premium luxury? I love that. That is an incredible paradigm shift to ponder. I want to invite you to really chew on that thought as you look at your own business strategy this week. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive, and we will catch you on the next one.